Hi everybody, this is Jessica. I am the Enneagram life coach, and today we're going to do a video on what it looks like for types 8, 9, and 1, or the body types, to be at their absolute best. And the reason we do videos like this is because humans are really good at, if you give them a target, at aiming at it and hitting that target. If you remember from other videos, the word sin actually means missing the mark, and it's an archery term. So we all sin all the time, meaning we're all not the best versions of ourselves all of the time, but there are some times when we can hit the mark. And what Enneagram does is it doesn't just give you some impossible standard or some, dream you that can't exist in this, side of eternity. These are actually attainable things that real people do with work and intention and prayer and spiritual connection. And so whatever level of health you are at, and the levels of health were developed by Riso and Hudson, whatever level of health you are at, you can always improve. And the point of the video today is to tell you what the top three levels, the top levels look like for the three body types. But the levels of health come in like 9 steps. So I'm going to tell you the absolute highest one, and it'll kind of blend a little bit in with the ones that are also great, but not the absolute highest. So let's start with point 8s. 8s achieve like their highest version of themselves, their most divine reflection, if you will, their clearest reflection of the divine, when they let go of the idea that they have to be in control of their environment. 8s spend their entire lives, albeit sometimes subconsciously, trying to control everything in the external environment to their liking or to what they believe is fair or good or safe. And obviously, the glitch there is we can't control our environment. And once 8s stop trying to push and force the world to be other than it just is, once they realize that they can still be autonomous and secure in and of themselves, even without controlling their environments, that's like their freedom. That's when an 8 becomes the absolute best version of themselves. And when they get to that space where they're not putting all of their energy towards controlling all of the other things, they can actually deal with their own hearts. Because 8s, generally speaking, have some inner emotional situations that haven't been fully dealt with, or maybe not dealt with at all, or maybe not, they're not aware of them. And there is a sort of an unrest that happens in an 8 because of maybe wounds and scars from the past that have never been addressed. But once the 8 puts her energy towards her own heart and her own healing, and remember, 8s have really big hearts. Once she does that, she'll realize that she and God are safe together. She is safe in God, and she is protected in God, and the world is fair in God's terms, on God's terms, and in God's time. And then she can actually be what a great 8 is, which is a leader, a game changer, a visionary. See, all of those skills that she has are helpful in an orderly fashion once she's not using them haphazardly and impulsively to try to control the world around her, the environment. Once she gets her own heart healed, she can then work to be a healer in the world, to be magnanimous, to be super generous, to do huge projects that are for the good of humanity. And that's what it looks like when an 8 is at her very, very best. For 9s, when 9s finally realize that it is extremely important and even valued to other people for them to use their voice and for them to engage in the world, when they stop telling themselves that old story that nobody cares about them, or they're not important, or they don't have great ideas, or their contribution doesn't matter, when they release that and start using their voice, they are their highest reflection of the divine. And in that space, they will finally have that autonomy that they've been craving. 9s don't love that other people push them around all the time, but of course, often they will allow that as a trade-off for like a fake version of peace. But once they are connected to God, and they realize that they do have a voice, a God-given voice, a word, if you will, and that they can share that word with others, then they are healers. They bring about harmony. They finally are, they're leaders in a way that can heal people and invite everyone to the table, let all voices be heard. They're gentle, they're sweet, they're kind, and everybody loves to have them around. And in that place where they are self-possessed, and they are strong in and of themselves, and they know what they want, and they will voice what they want and what they believe the world needs, that's their contribution, and that's a 9 at her absolute best. And then our friends at point 1, ones in their desire to be good, they often lose sight of the fact that they cannot, that we, not just the one, no human can be fully objective ever. We only see limited parts of any picture all the time. Once a one can realize that she does not own the objective truth, that as moral as she is and as upright as she is and as good as she still cannot see everything, and therefore she is not in a position to make good and bad judgment calls about the world around her. Once she realizes that, that will set her free to be the good and person of integrity that she really is. She's noble, she has wisdom, she acts within her own life, and they do this also. They act in their own life with integrity and considering other people and trying to be filled with love and joy and kindness. They can do that and let the rest of it go. Let God handle the rest of it, and even realize that they can have opinions. Of course, we want them to have opinions, but what we don't want is for them to demand that they have an objective truth, because none of us have a full version of that. So once a one can let that go, lets her judgment go, and just relaxes, and then she is actually doing good in the world, which is all ones actually want in the first place, is to reform the world, to make it better, to contribute to the team, to, it's something like follow the rules in a splendid way so that the rest of us are inspired to follow suit. And she's free to do that once she releases that angry judgment. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. I'm a coach. If you're interested in personal calls, please contact me and like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.